Hello and welcome to the Road to Vegas here with FACEIT. We have 4 matches for you coming today and some more coming tomorrow and later in the week as well. We're going to have one team qualifying from Europe and one team qualifying from North America. I am joined by, firstly to my right, Mr. Vendetta from Norway. How are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. Excited to get things going.
Yeah, looking forward to doing some TriCasting with Dan and I.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
Okay, and as per usual, we have Dan here as well. Dan, surviving? Hanging on?
Yeah, I'm basically a fixture of the studio, so I feel good.
Awesome
Where I'm
stuff.
supposed to be.
And the debut in the FACEIT studio of Wienecke, also known as Wienecke, ex-professional player, as well as Vendetta. How are you doing, sir?
I'm excited to be here for the first time with you guys. Also excited to not do any casting, only analyze things. So, yeah.
Great. So you'll be hearing from Wienecke in between games, and during the game you'll be hearing from Vendetta as well. So just have constant analysis from the ex-pros here. So we're going to have a full look at the format now and see exactly how things are going to work. And we can see here that we've got 8 European teams, 8 American teams, North American teams should I say. It's a best of 3 format all the way through. One team from each region will make it through to the finals in Las Vegas coming in January. So it's a lot to play for, and it's going to be quite cutthroat as well. We can see the schedule and see what games we have coming up for you today. Again, it is going to be 4 games across 2 regions, 2 European games, 2 North American games as well. The first one should be starting very shortly indeed. So hopefully that'll be on your screen very soon. The first game is going to be SK, Sanskadian, who's actually going to be doing the observing today. We'll see the bracket first. So we're going to see G2 versus Arcade, Dignitas versus SK, which will be our first game of today. On the other side of the bracket, we're going to have Flipside versus Vexed, and then Mouse versus CSGO Lounge. So I think we'll see the vetoes for the first match soon, which is going to be Dignitas versus SK, so we'll look out for that quickly. Any expectations in terms of vetoes between these 2 teams?
Well, I mean, it's pretty known that SK doesn't play cash, so I would expect them to veto that, even though they beat XTSM on it and 16-2. And yeah, well, now there's not much to predict. Dignitas bans Dust 2, as they usually do, and then we have Train and Cobble, 2 custom maps as the first 2. That's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I think, you know, SK picked Train, so it's maybe a slight curveball they threw towards Dignitas. They don't play it that often, but that doesn't have to mean anything. Again, we always talk about these domestic matchups as well. These teams both changed players pretty recently, so it's going to be really hard to predict this one, who comes out on top.
Anything to add?
No, seems about right. I think this actually should be a 3-mapper, so I think we're going to see everything being duked out to decide things on overpass, and I think this should be a really good game. Both teams have a pretty varied map pool overall, and I think we're actually going to see both of the team's strongest suits going into this. So it should be a really good game.
I would love to see overpass on this in this best of 3 if it goes all the way. We know MSL, for example, is always has great strats like running executes onto the B site and so on with Dignitas. Do you expect much from SK?
Yeah, well, the thing is, for me, of course, we've got 2 kind of new lineups here, but Dignitas have been able to put in a lot more work than their opposition in the SK. But that said, SK have had really good results recently. Of course, Fnatic. If we do get to the overpass, recently at on LAN, they took their new player, Magisboy, that no one had really seen much from, and he had a massive performance on LAN. They were able to take at least overpass. Of course, it was kind of a shutout on the rest of the maps in that series, but against Fnatic, they showed that they could really stand up to the best individually as well as strategically. Probably for me, maybe one of the best of 3s that we could have out of the European bracket. I'm really excited. It's going to be really close. Lots to talk about. I'm really, really excited, definitely.
Well, again, we should be into the game very shortly now. So, again, I think it was Cobblestone was the first map, and Train will be the second one. So, Cobblestone, obviously, it's a map where it's very difficult to have a stronghold on the CT side, because if you lose one player, it can make things very difficult. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, we talk about it when the guy that maybe is holding B platform as CT, if he dies, and then you have a player behind Fountain, and he needs to look at maybe drop and platform at the same time, cover both angles, doesn't have a lot of places where he can hide, then he's in a really tricky situation, similar as if you have a guy on A slope on Dust 2 and he's long teammate dies, so he has to cover catwalk and long at the same time. It's a similar situation. So knowing that Dignitas also likes to play aggressive at times, I feel we're going to have a really explosive and exciting game here for sure.
Interestingly, Dignitas are a team who tried to force Pimp onto the AWP, and they were missing that. Actually, we'll come back to that in a bit because we are going into the pistol now. So Dignitas versus SK. Dignitas going to be starting on the CT side, and SK moving over towards, well, the bomb is above the pop dog for the time being. They've got 2 towards Ivy though, so it's not really clear what their intentions may be.
Yeah, already we're going to see a bit of a tentative start, but SK just trying to get some pressure towards Ali, whilst the rest of SK's teammates will be just hanging out by main and also pop dog. So they're kind of keeping their options open here, and also if Dignitas were to go for a fast Ali push, which some CT sides have done, they'd actually cover themselves there quite nicely. So SK can still do a lot with this, just waiting it out, see if Dignitas will make a move, but they are very static themselves.
AcilioN moving slowly towards Ali here, and he's the one with the utility on SK's end, so this is probably going to be, well, the way they're set up right now, it should look to be a pretty standard A-take with heavy focus on Ali, so we're going to smoke out Kjærbye and the backline towards Ali here, and then they're going to push through it.
Alright, so we had a very cursory peek there from the SK boys, and they are starting to move in. tenzki's coming in for support, but there's no frags for either team yet. Config's going to get the first one. tenzki following up, and RUBINO as well. So SK getting absolutely squashed here. The bomb's down. They're not going to get a single frag. Only Config and tenzki taking any damage there, which means that Kjaerbye and MSL will get their helmets for $350. Very strong start here from Dignitas.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was pretty clear as to what SK were going for. Just as on the T side, you might as well kill some time at the start of a round before you just go for it. I mean, because you can, of course, defend against any aggressions that might be there to actually throw you off before you can get your plan going. So they just waited for that, and now Dignitas just effectively cleaning it up. They'll get that nice start here on the CT economy. Doing a bit of a push brewing though.
Yeah, a pretty heavy force buy, utility heavy force buy coming out from SK here. So they're probably looking to get the bomb plant down. You can see they're setting up in black walls here. So we're probably going to see them smoke out both lower train and in between the 1 and 2 train as well. Just try to get a bomb plant down. And if they can do that and at the same time push forward while getting the bomb plant down, they might be able to do some significant economical damage to Dignitas.
Okay, so you can
and
see
Kjaerbye pointing out where the smokes are about to land.
Exactly. So we should see some pop flashes as well. You can throw them off the wall where Magic's Boy is. Oh, it's Magic Boy today. Is aiming for a bit of a pop flash. Does give it away a bit though when it hits the wall.
And the good thing for Dignitas right now is that they are playing 2 people steadily on that inner bomb site, and the quick rotations are coming in as well.
There we go. The action's about to begin as the T's burst out onto the bomb site. MSL's there close on the train as Dignitas stopped them pushing forwards, but they're managing to do so. This is a great effort so far by SK with inferior weaponry. They are getting it done. 3 players here for Dignitas to push the assault back into the bomb site for the retake as that C4 will go down, and it will just be Magic Boy left. But damage, severe damage has been accrued here by Dignitas, so that's a great result for SK.
Indeed.
Bit of a questionable defense though coming out from Dignitas. I'm not really sure what was going on communication-wise between RUBINO and the second Dignitas player on the inner bomb side, because nobody had along the lower train. And it's not uncommon that we see people run through their own smokes and that type of thing to actually push forward. And I think it was MODDII who managed to pick up the first frag onto RUBINO there, and that basically opened up the entire bomb site and gave SK such a good opportunity and such, the possibility to do so much damage in that round.
Yeah, I think the observing will be quite interesting, obviously, because Cadian's been a player for SK for quite a while, so
he should know everything they do.
Yeah, he has an idea of what to expect from them. So again, we've got a lot of T's heading into Pop Dog here. It's a lot of people on one ladder.
This seems very suicidal.
We'll see. Config's in a good position, but if he cannot get taken down by Magic Boy, then who knows what happens. He's going to go down to the electric box, doing well so far. He's got the A4 rather than the silent stem 4, which means that's 10 more bullets to find some more frags. Down to the pistol, and MODDII's going to get 1 frag in, but that's going to be it. So not much damage to Dignitas, which is going to be a plus for their economy going forward, although it's still fragile at this point. SK coming in for the buy.
Yeah, and well, we've seen SK, well, back when they played with Cadian on a map like Train, they would pick up double ops quite a bit, because then you could have both Cadian and Friis roaming around trying to find entries. For now, just going to be Friis, and you talked about this, Pimp being kind of forced onto that AWP when he was in Dignitas. I'm curious to see whether that's going to be a recurring theme for him in SK as well.
I'd be surprised. So I think he was very unhappy with that,
yeah,
by his tweets.
Especially when he's such a good rifler as he is.
Of course, yeah.
Right now, SK not finding anything at all. He jumps up, misses the shot though. So no entry found, and in large part, when SK have been successful on this map, especially on their T side, it's because Friis has been able to find openings.
You can see the smoke down at PopDog allows tenzki to stay up there for a little while because obviously him being spotted, even if the frag doesn't come in there, he's susceptible to a kill from PopDog, but it's not going to happen. MODDII getting the opening kill onto MSL here.
We do get a bit of a forward position from Dignitas. They're starting to take some liberties here, knowing that they're down a man, their defense is a bit spread, and Kjærbye will be the first to find contact, and he will not be able to survive the assault. MagicBoy picks up the kill. The entry is going to allow SK to start pushing the back lines here towards CT spawn if they want. This is a really bad look right now for Dignitas with 3 players. They're all really far pushed up in both yards at this point, so this is a very awkward round now for them.
You can see 30 seconds or less on the clock at the moment, and everyone is spread out across both teams. You can see tenzki's in a very strong position to close out the round if he kills the bomb planter here, the bomb carrier, sorry, and indeed he has done that. So this is pretty much a closed round now. SK with 12 seconds to kill 3 players, and the bomb may get collected here, but there's no time for him to make it anywhere near the site. It's going to take about 3.5 seconds to plant the bomb. So he will collect the bomb, but he won't be able to do anything with it. No Christmas presents for these counter-terrorists.
And there you see the issue with Friis not being able to find that opening frag for SK because they don't really get anything to go off of. And with Dignitas being the ones to actually find the opening frag in that round, it just slows down everything SK wants to do. And executions towards that outer bomb site, sure, there's a lot of exit points and stuff like that where Dignitas have to be worried about, you know, for an eventual yard push. But if you go down a man, your push is just so much weaker.
And here we go, the execute coming in very fast from SK, trying to just batter this defense down, but Dignitas have everyone to attention. They've got somebody pushing from PopDog, so there will be a flank coming very quickly as well. So SK, they've got to get themselves in position very rapidly because here it is now. That flank indeed is going to start to do excellent damage. MSL just spraying them down, and Dignitas didn't even have any problems defending against the initial execute in the yard either. So that was just perfection from Dignitas.
And so far so good, and we haven't really seen SK get anything done barring that one force spy they had in the second round.
They have 7 frags in 5 rounds so far, on to round 6. They took a lot of nade damage in that round as well, so the spray downs were real afterwards and seemingly very easy for Dignitas. So we've got RUBINO spotting in connector. He's going to be the rotation man between A and B, it seems. Just going to play on both sides of that just in case. Going to be expecting some fast aggression here somewhere from SK. The question is where. I think we had a bit of a push down Ivy. Indeed, you can see Kaden indicating that so they know where it isn't. So we're going to have the guns coming in to concentrate on A. 3 CTs there at the moment, trying to hold down all the angles, working well so far. Only AcilioN and MagicBoy remain. AcilioN going for the plant in the smoke. Will he be found? He's got the plant for his team just in time, so at least they've got that $4,000 bonus going into round 7.
So what do you think the problem is here for SK so far? Because they've had a few rounds to kind of test out a slower pick-based style, some execute styles. It looks like Dignitas are defending the executes pretty much perfectly. It's not even close. And SK, they do seem to struggle as well into some of the slower rounds.
Yeah, well, I think the problem with the slow rounds is the fact that they can't find picks, and that's really what they're looking for before they want to execute pretty much anywhere on the map. The one quick round they had with buys was, I don't know, it seemed kind of lackluster because you had 5 people pushing out through main and then getting bogged down behind the 7 train, which is not the plan you had in mind when you want to go out there. You kind of want to push forward and put pressure on Dignitas instantly. Right now they're all moving kind of sparsely in towards inner side. You can see MSL having nice time to actually pick up 1 by 1. Yeah,
speaking of pressure, this is a buy from SK, if you were wondering. 2 players down at the hands of MSL on his lonesome very quickly indeed. And Config will get taken down elsewhere. Now, SK's options are going to be extremely limited with only 3 players. They can go for a B plant if they manage to do it. They've got MagicBoy with a Molotov to try and stop any diffusers from coming in, but they're going to have to try and hold for a long time with the CTs having a man advantage.
Yeah, it's all about to come to a close very shortly as this push is going to make its way onto the B side. Pimp will open it up though, MSL will go down, and it looks like the T's, SK, they finally look to have a good chance here to take a round. The flick coming in from Friis is not going to find the target as he would have liked, and now Dignitas have to get it done with Kjærbye and tenzki, as the smokes are going to delay their approach as well. So things not looking too great here for the Danes.
There goes a Molotov from MagicBoy, so that's not going to happen anymore. Kjærbye is heavily tagged though, and there he goes down to tenzki now versus 2. He'll take down Pimp and put himself in the 1 versus 1, but again the Molotov has been lost for the SK side, which means that Friis may have to face with the AWP as well. tenzki though is running out of time. Friis going for the early pick, not going to get it, but he's going to stop the defuse from coming in. The round is more or less lost unless Friis went down there, so I think all the players will die now. Friis will get the last round.
Still, not the worst thing in the world for Dignitas. SK does a good job of actually finding the right timing. Pimp had to find the opening where MSL is basically isolated because he had RUBINO to help him out behind the bomb train. If RUBINO also picks towards higher while Pimp moves out, then most likely you're going to get a 1-for-1 trade, which doesn't really give SK anything in that situation because Friis shouldn't be able to push in towards that B bomb site alone with that op. So SK get, they find the right timing to actually push on that inner bomb site, but losing everything they have, they're in such a volatile state economically speaking right now. So Dignitas have all the opportunity in the world to just break them completely.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. They've got to string some rounds together here after losing so many players. There's MSL though to try to ruin all their chances, spraying wildly, not really finding all that much with it either. There's some very tanked players here for SK, but they will win that first objective. The bomb can go down on B, and Dignitas are forced to respond.
We'll see what they can do. Well, that's a good start from Friis, especially considering the health on some of these SK players, and that might just shut down the round here. Although we'll have to see how much. Well, you can see Kjærbye's only got $1,200 in the bank, so it's a question. What is he? Are they trying to win the round? Are they trying to do some damage?
No, they're trying to do some damage. They know that several of the SK players are tagged up. They know that their economy is low, so Kjærbye is just going to stick around to see if he can find some tracks.
Oh, these indecision there. That's such a problem when you see two players come on at the same time and you can't decide fast enough which one to try and take down first.
Yeah, you actually just decide to go for both, like really half-heartedly.
Yeah. I'm sure that spray from MSL, someone's probably making a spray and Reddit. Look at the changes, but I don't think he moved across there in that entire spray.
No, yeah, that was just poorly played. Because there's no real reason for him to spray either. Because he could only see the feet of AcilioN as well, so he could easily just tap shots into there and then continue on his spray afterwards, and probably get a better result off of it. And he's probably well aware of that himself.
Yeah, they've got a fast play straight into the yard now to break Dignitas, because if they lose this round, they have to go for the eco. But Config already dropping the bomber, and the second player, MagicBoy Flash. Config is taking huge liberties at the moment. These flashes are perfect. Great play from Dignitas as they completely halt this push, all thanks to Config. And here he goes, looking for the ace now. Already with those 4 kills, Friis is lurking right in the back, and he will stop the huge play out of Config, but he's got so much work left to do.
Yeah, talk about taking matters into your own hands.
Yeah, he has a minute to
pray.
Yeah, more or less. I was trying to find a pun for Config, but I didn't have one then. I'm sorry.
Configure the situation into his favor.
Yeah, I guess it has been indeed configured.
It was
That's
pretty
some kind of Matrix reference there.
like
somewhere.
crazy perfect timing on all those engagements, because it doesn't always work out like that, where you might have to catch everyone just as they get flashed.
Yeah, normally you're the one to get flashed and you die instantly, and you kind of just give up yard control for your team. But dodges everything perfectly and finds everyone at the right time.
Look at the aggression there, MSL.
I guess the saving grace for Friis in this situation is the fact that seeing how Dignitas lost 2 rounds in a row, they're not going to be that well off money-wise. So it's actually questionable whether or not they want to try to sacrifice some weapons to actually down Friis. You can see tenzki is roaming about, but I don't think they want to put too many people on that, actually, and you can see time is about to run out.
I think it's maybe like the third buy versus buy where they've gone for either a fast execute, some kind of play similar to what we just saw onto the A bomb site. I think in every single round, every single version, Dignitas to survive with 4 players.
Yeah,
and that was the one round that SK needed to win to force them to eco, but now they've kind of given it away on a play that they've been struggling with.
But yeah, and both times they've gone that heavily out through teammate on SK's end. They haven't gotten past the 7 train, which is a worrying sign. So yeah, maybe they want to have to rethink that and actually go back to playing more heavily towards the inner bomb side. That's been working out for them. They've been finding frags onto MSL eventually, or just let Friis go to work with that op.
So we've got RUBINO now over the AWP, and he's pushed up pretty deep into the B bomb site, which may get the rotation over towards A for the CTs, but will it get there in time? There's a man down for both sides at the moment. SK are encroaching on the bomb sites, but they've got position around the site itself, but the bomb's being left passively just in case, it seems. Friis has gone down, so man advantage for Dignitas now, and AcilioN, where is he going to take that bomb?
This is quite the interesting round now. Kjærbye's going to try to salvage something towards the safe site, and he'll get a quick kill, but immediately traded by MagicBoy, leaving it to a 2 versus 2. And there's just a bit of time left for both teams to figure out what's going on, as RUBINO and MSL are in good positions at the moment to defend this A bomb site and rotate quickly to B as well, as SK begin the rotation. But which way will they go? Looks like they're going towards alley here with 2 players. Interesting choice.
I wonder if MSL can hear them from there. I'm not sure.
I don't think he can. I think it's too much of a distance. But he's still in a pretty decent situation to actually catch people off.
Is he going to be the garden hose? No, not going for the two-man spray down. Just going to play crossfire with his team, and there it is, RUBINO coming in for the save. And Dignitas put another round on the board.
One thing I have to mention there is that it felt to me like, you know, in that round they first of all said, okay, we need to find a way to make sure that these outside pushes work, and they went for it again. But then it actually was working, but then they started pulling all the way back. And they started pulling back at the point when 2 of the 3 CTs in A were stuck in connector in terrible positions, but they allowed them out. It's very weird stuff.
Yeah, it's partly because the bomb is put down in a passive position, and the fact that it's letting it get tagged up so heavily, I think. But they definitely could have taken advantage and punished Dignitas way harder for the rotations they did.
Well, SK on the eco once more, and they're spread out. There's 2 players towards B, but the bomb seems to be headed towards A, although it's starting to rotate now towards B or the pop dog. So,
I wonder if MSL might have seen the feet of MODDII when jumping up there.
Well, if he has, then this bomb might be in for a bad time. So I wonder what the purpose is of Pimp in this situation.
I think they're just gonna use, they're just gonna use Pimp and Ali as a bit of a decoy, I would imagine, just to see if they can force some sort of rotation, especially with Magic Boy just sitting here in pop, just firing off the eagle shots.
Okay, actually, well, they're moving onto the site now. We've got 3 people, and they're trying to push down to the other side of the site. MSL down to the USP, going to get the frag. Can he take down the bomb planter though? Just repositioning, waiting for his team to come in, and he will watch the last player go down. Pimp seems to be going in for the late flank, but on the eco, that was never going to get much done.
Yeah, I've never really seen that much of a benefit in having someone on an eco round being the flanker. I think you're probably better off just having everyone push towards one site at that point, because you have so limited firepower that you might as well group up as much as possible, just see if you can get as many kills as possible. They do get a bomb plant though, so it works out for SK, but I don't really see what the purpose of pimping an alley there is going to actually provide for you later on.
Cause a rotation if you get a kill, so you're saying, oh, I'm going to get a kill with the CZ at range with no Kevlar.
Well, we're back on the buy now, and we've got 2-man push in alley here from the CTs, and I'm not sure if Magic detected something, but he has moved to a very passive position indeed, and now he's stuck, and tenzki has spotted him, and they're both going to smoke off, so he will manage to escape. The dual smokes, stereo smokes, fast push through pop dog from the T's now, taking down MSL. Can SK get another round on the board here?
Yeah, this push is slow but methodical so far. The tenzki from up top the train will drop Pimp in a very quick fashion. Now RUBINO is being pushed to a close defense with this AWP. 2 players facing at once is too much for him to deal with, and all just happening just like that. SK with all 3 frags and the round as well. So 9-3 is the score as they do bring a round back, but I still feel like they haven't found a good solution. It feels like they're still very much going on the fly.
Exactly. The main reason that works out is because Friis finds that quick opening, which is the first time he's done so throughout this game. And that allows SK to do so, especially when Magic sees that double push in alley. Then you know Dignitas are out of position and looking for information and trying to regain some sort of map control. Oh, that's a nice
through the
nice
smoke.
Move.
Down Friis goes. Magic Boy had a more passive approach to Ivy, maybe weary of another push from the CTs. There are 2 CTs towards Ivy at the moment. Only 1 person towards B, and MSL's gone down. So, but there's the problem that Config is now flanking the T's, and look where the bomb is.
Yeah, that was actually a very good play from SK, but as you say, the bomb is very far away. This is another round where SK have the opportunity to force an eco out of Dignitas. A very, very impactful round if they were to pick this one up. But Config is going to take down Magic Boy and get the bomb in the hands of the CTs now. So Dignitas with all the control of the situation, but not for too long. We've got AcilioN there with a kill onto tenzki. However, he's alone against 3 players. He's with Pimp actually against 3 players, and Pimp's going to find one as well. But the bomb still is in the hands of these CT players of Dignitas, and they've got a good setup to deal with it.
There's about 30 seconds on the clock for them to try and do something about it. There's a shoulder peeking coming in. RUBINO's going to miss the shot, smoking off up after his teammate, but he's going to go down, leaving Config alone. He's done a lot of work here, and this is a really hard position for SK because they're trying to double peek, but from one position they managed to get through the choke point. But down goes the first player, AcilioN, and now Pimp has to try and dance. Picks up the bomb. And I think where is he going? He's going to go to the A site, it seems.
Yeah,
and Config is far away indeed.
Should have the time for it.
There we go. He's going to get it down just in the nick of time with a second to spare. As he looks for the engagement now, Pimp with the advantage here is Config has no idea where he is. He jumps across, and Pimp is going to nail him there. And that's going to be the round for SK, but what a round it was. A very important one, as we can see. Dignitas have been busted on the money, and this is the opportunity now for SK to maybe get to 6 rounds.
Yeah. I think they might need to as well. I think they need quite a bit of rounds on that T side if they want to go up against Dignitas, or if they want to come out of this map as ahead. But still, I still think that's a giveaway round from Dignitas, the one we just saw. I'm not really sure why Dignitas wanted to rotate through CT spawn or go anywhere near that area, because they had lost complete control over the inner bomb site. They had the bomb in Blackwall, so for Kjærbye to rotate around there from back alley, it doesn't really make sense to me. I much rather would have seen them actually stack up towards Blackwall, so him rotating through pop, something like that.
Is Config in T main?
Beneficial. I think he is, yeah.
Ah, this is interesting. So Dignitas are on the eco, but look at the positions they've got. Very, very advanced. They're advanced towards B. They're advanced in T main. They're advanced in Ivy. And with these Deagles, they could get some interesting situations. Well, Config, his T main hold is not going to work out, but where will it send the Ts?
Now the push is coming now. It's inevitable that this bomb site should surely be taken by the SK side. Superior firepower. Oh, great shot there from tenzki, though. That's going to drop Friis, but that's all that's really going to go the way of Dignitas, you would think, in this round. Just Kjærbye left with a P250. And it would appear that SK have done the job. Pretty solid anti-eco there from them. Ooh.
So MODDII being Swedish, you think they're all speaking English now?
I think they're communicating in Danish, because MODDII lives in Copenhagen, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and he's had I still think he has a long-term Danish girlfriend.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think it's in Danish, because if I'm not mistaken, MODDII is also from the southern part of Sweden, which is pretty much Danish.
It's basically Denmark.
I know it's like a 5-minute train from Malmo to Copenhagen. Well, there we go. So SK starting to catch up now. Just a few rounds left on the board.
Yeah, he lives in Denmark, yeah.
1 round left on the board in this first half, and looking a lot better now. They had only 2 rounds for a very long time, but now they give themselves a fighting chance going into the second half.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting right now. Dignitas could try to shut it down again, but will SK go for that? The A play, the fast A play, as they have been doing in situations like this? Will they slow it down? It does look like they are a little bit slow this time, although quite a lot of traffic towards Pop Dog. So we might see the A push after all, as Config is standing large and in charge. On top of the electric box, patiently awaiting the first contact from Friis there, but it's a little bit delayed. He's got to be careful not to look the wrong way at the wrong time. Great flick there from Friis to enter the A yard, but still, SK will take their time.
MODDII got taken down towards B through the corner of the box. Pimp is now in the same position, but a bit more advanced. And again, MSL is all alone as distraction is being run over towards the A site, though. He's got some information for his team, and he is most certainly alive here. But how fast will this push be from SK? They're going in upper and lower at the same time. MSL considering the nades. Might have been meaty considering these positions, but not gone for it. Down goes Magic's Boy. Just a 1v1 for MSL all day, it seems. The flash coming in, and Friis will finally take him down.
Yeah, he's looking to be in some good positions here, but he will actually drop down from what was a very good vantage point with the AWP. Less exposed and more direct team play with his mate who's just planted the bomb. And actually looks like Friis is going to go down. Nice peek from tenzki, and just like that, RUBINO also taking AcilioN out. And that's going to be the defuse for Dignitas. So they will actually manage to bring a 10-5 first half, and it really did seem like SK had quite a few opportunities to go with, but they just made maybe the wrong calls or weren't as comfortable with some of these A plays as maybe they felt in practice.
The question is, how many practice games have they actually been able to have with Pimp in their lineup? Because Pimp also came back from surgery, so he hasn't been able to play CS just in total that much the last couple of weeks. So that might be an issue as well for them.
Many changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since then.
Well, it's nice to see Dignitas doing something different, because as soon as they couldn't get the AWP in that last round in the hands of RUBINO, they doubled up on that inner bomb set and actually went aggressive, which caught MODDII off guard.
So now the onus is on Dignitas to push and try and take their T pistol. 3 men going towards Ivy. MODDII looking for the higher peak on the green box you can just about see there, but they're all standing lower for the time being.
Actually, a very similar setup to what SK did on their pistol. So same amount of nades and everything.
Well, he's been smoked off, so there's going to be a bit of isolation. The crossfire and CTs won't be. tenzki up close to the Glock and have the one shot there onto the head of Pimp, and now SK are trying to get back in control of things.
Yeah, the retake will come into play as they actually managed to stop the bomb from going down. MagicBoy taking a very forward position there, and Friis as well getting into the action. Just 2 players left now for Dignitas as they try to scramble to get the bomb picked up and planted. They do have a lot of time, but need to get the headshots, and they are starting to fall here for SK. Everybody's down on the ground, and there you go. It's RUBINO and Kjaerbye with an excellent close in the end, and that's going to be the pistol round for Dignitas, and that's going to apply so much pressure onto SK.
Yeah, it's actually quite surprising that Dignitas managed to salvage that round, because MagicBoy, they instantly spot him out up in CT Sniper there early on, but still he's able to pick up 3 frags from it, and able to pretty much, as you said, deny the bomb plant, slow Dignitas down, and force them into, well, a really locked-in position. So from that point on, SK should be in a really good spot to actually close out the round, but some great shots coming in from tenzki and RUBINO there to save it.
Well, it looks like Dignitas are going to go for a fast play towards the B bomb site. Good thing they haven't put the numbers in lower just yet, as versus a Caesar that might be in a bit nasty through the smoke. You can see AcilioN is there on his own. Friis playing very close to the pop dog as well, I believe. Indeed, he is there, just facing the wall. He's expecting a pop flash to come in, and there are ways to get them in with not much prior warning. So we'll see if he can do anything up close. He may prefer a CZ in that position, though.
Yeah. I would agree with that, and I'm curious if his shoulder is actually visible for them.
Here we go, the nades are starting to fall into the site. And SK, they could really use this round, even though it's going to be a very, very hard one to win. And we will get 1 frag going their way, but still, the machine, the locomotive there of Dignitas seems to be rather unstoppable. They've lost a couple players along the way, but they're on that bomb site now. The bomb can be planted, and it's just AcilioN left with that CZ to try to make the difference here. But that is going to be too much to ask for, I think.
Yeah, just sit back, hope for someone to back off from the bomb through pop, pick up an AK, and then bail out.
That would be fantastic. But what's not looking fantastic is the lead that Dignitas are accruing on this second half. Okay, going to be 7 rounds down. AcilioN's going to get shot in the face to add insult to injury. And his CZ will be stolen as well. He's been pillaged at.
Yeah, and you know, actually one thing for me that impressed me recently with Dignitas, obviously they've been together for a little bit longer than SK with just adding Pimp, as Vendetta had mentioned, is their T-size and their anti-eco strategies were just really strong and very well thought out on a lot of maps, and that very much impressed me because that's something that a lot of top teams overlook. But Dignitas, under the leadership of MSL, as you would expect, not to overlook something like that.
Ooh, we have a stack into the B bomb site. All the CTs are here together, but they've mostly got their basic USPs. There are some P250s in tow. And indeed, MagicBoy going to take down MSL, and 2 going down for Dignitas, but only MODDII is left. Wow, that's a big shot from him onto Config. He's too far away to pick up a rifle, and he will get finished off by tenzki. An expensive round for Dignitas.
Expensive, but they do get away with the first 3 rounds surviving for the better part, so they're not going to be that crumbled when it comes up to their buy. Still getting a nice full buy, and they will be able to buy up in the upcoming round if they were to lose this one as well. On SK side, they do get an op on Friis. No nades, though, on his end, but armor, luckily, so he's not going to be a victim to the aim punch monster that hides under every CS player's bed.
So we've got 3 players towards Ivy at the moment. Going to be... Well, we've got MagicBoy in Connector. We're going to be looking over towards main, where Pimp is also looking now. The CTs do get to that angle from Connector faster than the Ts do from main, so this way is disadvantageous for the Ts to go for that peak. Can often find themselves at the wrong end of an AWP barrel.
I'm curious to see whether or not SK wants to, or Dignitas wants to actually draw as much time off the clock as possible just to see if they can bait up more nades, because they know that SK are not in a perfect situation money-wise. So the more nades they can draw out, the better for them, but looks like Dignitas are just going for it.
Yeah, that push is actually going to be opened up. That channel out valley is free to travel through, and so far it's looking a little bit messy, but Dignitas are able to get the 2 frags, 2 for 1 actually, which is quite nice. But Pimp and AcilioN now in good positions across, or in more forward positions on the A yard, looking to do some damage here. But Config finally making a very delayed approach out of Pop Dog. Will be able to deal with him, putting them in a decent position. But Pimp finally announcing his arrival with deadly precision after that M4, and now it's just RUBINO. That bomb is taking away, but RUBINO needs to get out of this position, and he cannot do it. He tried to go for the play out of the smoke, which I think was probably quite smart, as he needed to use the smoke whilst it's still up, but he will get shut down, and SK will steal away around. But as you mentioned, Halvor, Dignitas, especially with the bomb down, can still get a strong buy in here.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't have any issues actually buying up here. SK on their end, they survive with 2 players, so their money is going to look somewhat somewhat iffy, and you can see AcilioN's not going to be able to get that many nades going. Yeah, Friis again, no nades on his end. But if Dignitas wanted to play a long drawn-out round, that opportunity is kind of gone. They're not going to be able to bait out as many nades from SK this time around, and SK are better off now than what they were in the previous round. A lot of Molotovs as well on SK's end.
Love a few Molotovs, especially when there are barbecues to be had. So tenzki just trying to cross, worst case scenario not being head to head, hence the jump. Although if an AWP is there, then he's going to get legged rather than hit in the chest. Unless we have a fast snapper. But he's going to, well, his teammate RUBINO is going to get taken down by MODDII, who's going to keep control of IV for the time being. Again, not much movement from Dignitas just yet. Just holding angles elsewhere, just lurking outside B, lurking T main. Looking for any aggression here from SK, who maybe can't afford such aggression with a score like 6-13.
Yeah, perhaps looking for individual plays now to bail themselves out of this position are Dignitas. However, it's not going so well. 3 versus 5. Kjaerbye looking to try to make the difference now as he pushes forwards. And you can see Pimp is actually wise to this on the ladder. So not going to get too much done out there in the yard. We'll have to see if they can make something happen down in inner. That's where the bomb is going now for Dignitas. And Config will actually be able to make it happen, but he will get eliminated. That's the bomb down. Even though Kjaerbye is able to open up the A yard, that bomb is down. There's really no time for Kjaerbye to make his way back over there either. So just going to prioritize dealing some damage if he possibly can, potentially. Or maybe even a save could be in order. We'll have to see what he decides to do.
10 seconds, he can't afford to duel anymore. If he dies after the clock, then he's got no money for the candy shop, Dan.
Well, right now, Dignitas doing something similar to what we saw SK do. They're just kind of feeling their way forward and around. And one of the issues that Dignitas might run into is the fact that they don't have an opper who necessarily is, I guess, as committed to it as Friis is. They have RUBINO who picked up the op on the CT side, but other than that, they might have issues finding or having an aggressive opper on that T side to find them opening frags. So if you go down a man at the in a situation like that, when you set up to get picks to set up your plays, then you're going to be in a really rough spot if you're Dignitas. Doesn't really matter how many nades you have at that point.
Right, so the bodies are heading towards B. The entire team of Dignitas, question is, with no vision anywhere else on the map, how long are they going to wait for this execute to come in? This execute is basically an eco with a Molotov and a nade, by chance. Onto Kjaerbye. There we go. RUBINO just caught in no man's land, and it is fish in a barrel at the moment. Kjaerbye getting that AK kill onto Friis, and now Kjaerbye alone. 20 HP and too much time on the clock to go for a save. Although there are 3 plays left here for SK, but that's going to be that for Dignitas.
Yeah, so Dignitas wanting to get that bomb down, not successful. Do get 2 frags. In the end, not going to bother SK all that much. We're going to get the buy-in from Dignitas, and again, they're opting to go with no ops. Obviously, wouldn't have the money to do so, really, and still haven't a lot of nades to work with. But this is where I would like to see Dignitas do something rather quick, instead of just hoping to get plays. And you can already see tenzki out in yard here.
Yeah, big push coming in. Big damage being done here by the Dignitas side as they try to reclaim control of this match, and they're doing so in quite a savage fashion as AcilioN looks to make something happen here from the back as he goes in from Popdog, and he's going to actually do that. 2 frags there for him. However, he is all that's left, and he will be promptly eliminated by Dignitas. And 14-8 now the score, so only 2 away are Dignitas from closing the first map out in what would be convincing fashion. The money is very weird for SK as well. Only 2 players you can actually buy.
Yeah, the weird thing for Friis is that he has gone down pretty much every round of the CT half after he picked up that op, so it's not been an easy couple of rounds for him. And it's reflected as AcilioN actually buying up buying up the op for him, trading that out with a FAMAS.
And we got MODDII in for a rough surprise as a lot of players line up to deal with him, but he does have a very nice weapon for this position. Looking to get something out of this. There's the first flash. There's the first drop. RUBINO going in. It's Kjaerbye to get the frag. So absolutely nothing there by MODDII. He will be able to make the call. However, it's fairly useless as we can see Dignitas have so much time. They're going to play it slow and really make SK wonder. Perhaps even force SK to go for an aggression.
I like this move from Dignitas though. They know that they're going to have to, or they're going to force a reaction from SK, and you can see already Pimp is slowly moving more and more aggressively in alley. And well, Magic, he's already moved into team main here. It could easily get caught out unless he has the backup of Friis.
Oh, this gonna be good. CZ in this position. is going to be, surely is going to be glorious. But time will tell.
Dignitas doesn't have a ton of nades, so they might just play it as safe.
They're running out of time,
multi
though.
everything out.
Speaking of timing, just a bit too impatient there, looking for the information. Information was found by way of cold steel to the face. What can Dignitas do with this? 2 CTs left on the A site here, running out of space to defend themselves. Friis and Pimp gonna come in with some really nice frags actually, and only tenzki remains. If he hadn't walked around that corner with a CZ, who knows where this round could have gone, but now it's tenzki in a 1 versus 3 with 10 seconds on the clock here, so we're not going to see a plant. Will he even survive is the question.
Yeah, just wants to get some damage in here, but there it is, the first player spotting him. Can he survive? They're going to charge him down, but he's going to run out of ammunition, and he will be eliminated after time. So as you can see, tenzki is very broken indeed, and SK actually from this position could launch themselves into quite a series of rounds.
Yeah, this is definitely the place where SK has the potential to come back into this. Still going to be really tough. It's not going to require a lot of ecos and a lot of rounds for Dignitas to get a stable economy going again, seeing how they are on that T side. And, well, no investment on Dignitas side. They're just going to bomb it in and bomb it and hope to get a blind.
Well, against an M4A4, they wouldn't fancy their chances. Kjaerbye has a deagle, but he's at an extreme disadvantage. Never mind his equipment. He's going to be going down legs first. And, well, he's running out of bullets, but there we go. Kjaerbye's going to try and reset the position. Maybe he gets a headshot. Well, he will receive a headshot. That's going to be the end of that. Very quick round there for SK. Nobody going down. Money in the bank. But you can see things are still a bit tentative with the SK economy.
Dignitas probably opting to go for another eco here so they can get that full buy going in with full nades and all that jazz. And I'm going to be curious to see whether or not Dignitas decide to move quickly in their upcoming buy round like they did 2 rounds ago. Because that worked out really nicely for them. Them trying to play a pickup style versus an off while they don't have one on their own. That's oftentimes really hard.
Yeah,
so
sort of committed to go in at this point. Into the grinder, that is the defense of SK with the superior arsenal that they are wielding. However, RUBINO with 2 fast frags here, AcilioN has to respond, wraps around the side of the train, and will find an excellent shot there onto tenzki through the electric box. But 3 players dead. Kjærbye's left here with that Tech 9, can't find a rifle pickup just yet. But perhaps with the minute on the clock, Kjærbye can actually get some more damage done here. They do have the bomb, however, do SK, so there is no getting around the fact that Kjærbye needs to go and find a way to pick that one up. So that does play in the favor of SK quite significantly.
Yeah.
The thing is now is if he's able to actually pick up one, as the SK players are so far away from each other that it's going to be an isolated situation for both players.
They're kind of making a bomb plant impossible on the A site without the planter being pushed, although closer and closer to Tech 9. Oh, there it is. And he's going to go for the fast plant, maybe assuming the other CT is over towards the B bomb site there. And he's not going to make it around the corner in time. Friis to finish things off. So there we go. SK still in it for the time being. We'll see how much money Dignitas have going forward.
I should get a healthy buy here with the bomb plant going down as well. And yeah, still not opting to go for an op unless config decides to change things up a bit here. Okay, no, they gotta go with the full nades. Now it's gonna be interesting to see whether or not they're gonna go for that slow pace style or if they're gonna do a quick push out into yard.
4 mollies for the T side. Makes me wonder if they have a plan, if they have intentions with those mollies for an execute. tenzki moving into the site very quickly. Behind the smoke is flashed as well, but where will the other players go?
I love this as well. AcilioN's going, he's matching the pace from the T's who are outside. He's going straight up into the flanking position. AcilioN could get a lot of work done here as the Dignitas side pushes forwards. There's the first flanking frag. Looking for the second one now. AcilioN's going to make good of that position, and MODDII's going to defend Ali as well. The bomb is now down by the train as well. MSL standing on that bomb train, and he can't get anything more out of it. So Dignitas, again, getting foiled by SK's very snappy response times.
Yeah, AcilioN being the big hero here as well. The same thing happened when Dignitas wanted to push out Adder quickly as well. AcilioN is so quick to rotate around and is always able to pick up a couple of frags, and that's really all you need from that point on because Dignitas gets so jumped by it. They have to slow everything down. They can't get a bomb plant safely because AcilioN can basically poke down any guy who tries to get a bomb plant down from that position in Pop Dog. So it slows everything down for Dignitas. SK is allowed to get into new positions from the other spots, like from Ivy and backline. So he's more or less the one saving SKs in those situations.
It feels like SK have actually read this pretty well because they've actually rotated Friis into a committed position to defend this push that's coming in. It's a great read from SK, but can they capitalize?
Well, the T's are pushing into the site. Friis has got the first frag onto MSL, old teammate of his. Spray coming in through the smoke, and Kjaerbye's going to go down. Heavily tagged players, Dignitas, 2-man disadvantage. Bombs on the floor as well, it seems. Got the Molotov going towards Upper, and the push continues from the CTs. Only RUBINO left now, trying to do what damage he can. Going for the taps there, but the recoil was nerfed as well, and maybe that's why he didn't get a frag. Who knows? Another round for SK.
Yeah, it's looking to be quite an interesting match at this point. SK's just starting to really give themselves a massive advantage in towards the end of the match, which is kind of the time where you want that advantage. And so I can see 10k out on Friis. And Dignitas forced to what could be a Tech 9, well, it was likely going to be a Tech 9 armor execute straight into the A yard.
Well, they are armored up. This is a full force buy from the T's. And Pimp is going to wreck Config and tenzki moving down that alley towards Ivy. So that's a horrible start for Dignitas. Almost a 2-man spray down again, but Tech 9 coming in for maybe what's a consolation frag at this point for MSL. Kjaerbye remains. He's nowhere near the bomb site. They've looking for him. They found him. He's picked up an M4, but he's against 3 players. How many more can he get? He's in a crossfire position as well, with people coming on top. So could hardly have been worse unless he was on fire.
Yeah, and it seems like we might have a situation now where we could very well go to an overtime here. It's very possible if Dignitas are able to win this round. Equally though, SK, I mean, they could. I think they're more likely to take this one, but we'll have to see how it pans out. What do you want to see out of Dignitas here, Vendetta?
I want to see them fake their outer yard push, because AcilioN has shown no restraint of actually rotating around quickly. So if they can basically bait AcilioN to do the rotation, and yeah, they could punish that pretty easily.
And they're doing it. It would look like, yeah. This is a very smart play indeed.
But they've put no pressure out from Pop, which is what they've done in every other round, so AcilioN sees no reason to actually push through.
Oh, they've baited the CTs into the B-bomb site, in fact. We've got 4 on the wrong end of a choke point. If the T's can get through that smoke in time to stop them coming back out, they can't do it. Pimp's on the site, but what can he do? The bomb's gone down.
Yeah, this is very awkward actually, because Dignitas is spread out all over the yard at this point. So SK will be surrounded by all sides, but can they make the frags happen? MSL put himself in a good position here. Config can help him out as well, but looks like he's going to go down straight away. Well, MSL, as SK have retaken the bomb site, they're going for the hold here on the bomb. Is there anybody there to shoot him down? He's going to get the defuse, and SK will win the round. And Dignitas are going to be feeling horrendous about that one, because they had such a good play and such a good advantage because of it.
There was a flank coming in from main as well. From the CCs, didn't get there fast enough, wasn't needed in the end as the smokes went. They started off the way of Dignitas and then they went the way of SK.
Well, that was just a really solid fake. I think SK might be playing a tiny bit into their hands, getting it to a bit over-eager. But that after-plan situation was really poorly played by Dignitas. It was just way too passive on their end.
Saw tenzki moving backwards towards Ivy there, just in case there was a flashbang push from the CTs. There was no such flashbang, but you can see his intentions there. Again, moving over to the other side. That was an explosive device. I think he broke a TV. We went charging for it though. So we've got 2 T's over towards Ivy. 1 just lurking outside main, and then 2 just standing around towards B with the bomb left above Pop Dog. 3 CTs towards A. Again, mainly focusing on Ivy, but the push is coming in now. Can AcilioN hold down both? No, Config's going to get the second frag. So again, that's going to cause a rotation from the CTs. MODDII is going to hold position for now, and SK is slowing down, moving back towards A.
It's quite a stressful situation here for SK, because they can't possibly know where the push is really coming from, and they're feeling pressure from all sides at this point. You can see SK kind of gathering towards connector here, so they have a response time from more or less all points. We'll have to see now whether this Dignitas push that's now coming in through alley can really do the damage it needs to break it onto the site. And there it is. Kjærbye with the first entry is so incredibly important, but Pimp is there to try to ruin their day.
3 players left for either side now, and the bomb looks to get planted, but Config's going to have to try and mount an offense onto Pimp. Indeed, he will leave Friis alone for SK to try and take it in normal time. Otherwise, we're going to be headed over to OT. So Config and tenzki going to set up for some kind of crossfire positioning. Passive angles being held by both players. So Friis is going to have to go for the peek here. Spots the first player. tenzki goes down. Where is Config though? Still some time on the clock. He does have a defuse kit. He sees the peek coming in. There's the molly. He's going to hold it. Doesn't get the frag. And we will go to overtime after all.
Yeah, that was really close from Friis. I thought maybe he could have the chance there. And a 2v1 in that kind of position is insanely hard. The percentage is, like, for you to win that position is probably just less than 5% or something.
Yeah, that's more or less unheard of that Friis is actually going to have a shot at that. At a second there, when Config makes the jump from 6 train over to 5, I'm thinking to myself, like, well, he's given away his position. This is just meant to be for Friis.
Yeah, right.
He's going to do it. But in the end, very well played by Config.
So I believe overtime should be MR5 16K. That means 5 rounds per half. All players starting with $16,000 as is standard on the FACEIT platform. The other option is MR3 10K. Well, the other common option, should I say, where it's 3 rounds per half and $10,000. There are varied opinions on which people prefer. I know Threat, for example, prefers MR5 16K as there's more Counter-Strike to be played, but then some people don't like the constant full buys basically from both sides. So where do you stand on that, Vendetta?
I'm actually a fan of the MR3 10K because money becomes a factor, and you actually have to account for how much you put into each and every round. So that kind of adds to the strategic aspect of it. But I could definitely see the value in an MR5 as well, because you do get to see, I guess, the most full-worthy rounds, to put it that way, instead of having in the last round of an MR3 one team being pretty much on a force buy with pretty iffy weapons, instead of just having ops and everything out for every single round. So I see the value of both, but I just prefer MR3, but that just might just be because I'm old, right? Who knows?
Dan, do you have a preference?
I think it can be a really strange one as well, because depending on the map, like the strategies that you see, it's just you see almost it depends on the teams, but you can see the same thing over and over and over again. That's not necessarily a bad thing necessarily, because it means that you've got this new dynamic at play where the team that actually is able to adapt better from their opponents will win, and I think that's actually quite good. So I prefer that system. But we're going to be into the first overtime here, so let's have a look and see how it's going to start off here. Got a bit of aggression here from AcilioN and Pimp, and this is going to be a massacre. Both players down here from Dignitas, and Pimp can escape. Oh my goodness, this is not good for Dignitas.
It is an abattoir up there, and there's bodies strewn all over the place. Meat hooks galore. Man advantage for SK at present. Pimp managed to survive with 20 HP. Config, Kjaerbye both taking a lot of damage, and they'll be lacking the map control there. You can see T main being approached by MODDII as well. And Dignitas are backing away from the B bomb site, where only Magic Boy remains at present. Oh, that's not true actually. Pimp is there on the high ground. So there's 2 CTs per site with the option for a fast rotation through connector to add a third.
Yeah, with MODDII playing this aggressively, I think that's okay on SK's end. I really like the change-up though, and that's something you hope to see in overtimes, because you've played the same rounds over and over again. This is the first time SK actually opts to go aggressively like that with 2 people on the inner bomb site.
Yeah, MODDII could... Oh, let's see, his teammate's too far away to throw the flashbang in for him. But he's got an AWP, and that's going to be a lot better. So Kjaerbye goes down 4 versus 2 now. MODDII's shoulder has been found once again. So it's Config and tenzki versus 3.
Yeah, Friis up on the train though. He's been pretty on point so far, and this will not be any different. Taking down Config, leaving just 1 player alone. tenzki's going to get wrapped by Friis. He'll miss the shot, but it won't matter. Magic Boy's there to deal the damage in the end after all. SK will win the first round of overtime, and Dignitas probably feeling a little bit sore still after how that round even opened up.
It's a bit of a setback having, well, going down 2 players instantly on that inner bomb side. And I think Trend is one of the worst maps to actually lose T players out of any maps, because you're so reliant on nades to actually get somewhere onto the sites, unless you're hoping for a miracle in terms of individual plays.
Okay, so we've got that early HE coming in from AcilioN. I think it's Team Liquid who I've seen with the best nade timing so far up the B ramp. I think they did a double nade once, which killed 1 or 2 players. It was beautiful, but it's not Liquid today. It's the European teams for now. We've got the execute coming into the B bomb site.
Yeah, AcilioN's in a very forward position here. This is committed. He has to make a couple kills here to make this position worthwhile, but looks like Dignitas are going to be too distracted to deal with him immediately, and the nades are going to start to rain in before Dignitas can take position to be safe. The bomb is not even down, and there's only just RUBINO left at this point. SK have done a marvelous job in defending this B site at a moment's notice, and they will go 2 rounds to 0 now in this overtime.
The rotations from SK are so quick onto that inner bomb site. AcilioN is never really alone, even though he's played that inner bomb site for the better part all by himself. And well, as Kadian's pointing out in here, the first op coming out in a very, very long time from Dignitas' end. And it's going to be on MSL of all players.
Well, Pimp may have a smile on his face now that it's not him who has to carry that burden, as it seems to be on the Dignitas team at present. There was a crossfire over towards Ivy from the CTs, but we'll see if they go for a peek. Again, Dignitas, sorry, MSL on the high ground here, and that smoke is going to be too high perhaps to look over even with a boost by that middle structure. Nades flying in from both sides. Only MODDII's taken significant damage though.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting situation now as the time starts to run down on the round. Nades start to get a little bit lower, but there's still enough here for SK. They've not been forced to use too many just yet. Dignitas repositioning towards T-Man and Pop Dog, so looking like they want to potentially get the opening into the A yard at least, or perhaps not as they move towards inner now. So might be that they all put the point of weakness at AcilioN.
Yeah, and they're going to put MSL out on higher here to potentially pick up. I think they want to pick up the rotation from Friis coming in through connector with that off on MSL. That's what they're looking for, because they know that if they put enough players down on that inner bomb side, they should be able to get a kill on AcilioN, even though they might not trade favorably. But if they could stop the rotations, they could still work with it.
So you saw Kaden calling out the Molotov there, and AcilioN has put it down. We've got smoke being pushed, but he's trying to spray through the smoke, getting the headshot. He can pick up that AK as well. 4 versus 3. Friis coming in through connector. Bomb has been planted, but again, it's man disadvantage with Dignitas. MSL though taking down Friis. There is a Molotov onto Kjaerbye as well, so they can potentially use that to stop her defuse from coming in. Man advantage for Dignitas as SK continue to push. MSL are taking down Pimp, MODDII soon to follow him to the grave. Close casket funeral for him, getting a shot straight in the face.
Pretty much worked out how we imagined that. MSL working as probably the most important player in that Dignitas push, being able to pick up the rotations. If he misses the shots onto Magic Boy and Friis, then SK probably have a field day retaking that site. Instead, it doesn't really matter that AcilioN manages to pick up 2 frags because they already lost the bomb site and they have no idea of actually pushing forward towards it without.
We have a big clash here towards Ivy. 2 versus 2. Who's going to win the duel? It's going to be Pimp taking it for his team, but there's the bomb coming. That's a big risk as well. Does he go for the trade? If he loses the trade, that's the bomb loss and maybe the round. Man advantage for SK.
Yeah, really taking your life in your hands, putting the bomb by Ali. It's a very, very isolated position. That goes down there in a lot of trouble, and even Magic Boy's going to spot a quick frag onto Kjærbye by T-Main, so oh my goodness. Dignitas are in so much trouble at the moment. RUBINO finding contact there. He'll deal with it pretty efficiently. That's Friis dead, losing no health in the process, but he's given up the position now. The CT side is aware that he is there with the bomb. And Config now has to try to create an opening, a gap, a distraction for RUBINO to get onto the bomb site, and there's not that much time left at this point. I think we're on 45 seconds. Okay, so there's some time to play with. RUBINO's actually got himself into a very poor position now. He's sneaking. How on earth did he sneak out there? AcilioN should have been able to spot that, but RUBINO's going to get 2 more frags. This is ridiculous there from RUBINO. Magic Boy now, 1 versus 2.
Yeah, Magic Boy is in a interesting position. Oh, the big tag onto RUBINO. Only 15 HP left, and now the onus has changed all the way around. The flash coming in, but they can't spot each other just yet. RUBINO bringing the garden hose to Magic Boy, but the weed will survive with that final frag. So the advantage there was the CT was by the bomb sites. Obviously they had to push, and he could try and dance around his trains. They went the same way. Got much damage in the first engagement and finished it off eventually.
It's kind of a happy accident for SK there, because Magic was not Magic was the guy initially shooting towards Config and Pop Dog, but because they found one guy behind the bomb train, didn't realize that. But here's a quick push from Dignitas out into yard.
Indeed, and we've got some great damage being done by Friis so far. Nades coming in, and there's frags all over the place. Dignitas are suddenly left with only Config in a matter of seconds. 3 versus 1. And he's going to get a kill, but they know where he is. A 5-7 coming out now for Friis, but switching to a nade at the wrong time will get the frag. No matter, 3-round lead for SK, 19-16. It's the first to 21 rounds to take map 1.
It's a very solid overtime half for SK's end, but we saw both teams being stronger on the CT side, so I guess we shouldn't count Dignitas out yet by any means. But I definitely think if this goes to a second overtime, I hope to see Dignitas pick up an up from the get-go in the next overtime, because we saw that they could be much more effective once they were able to put pressure on from long distances like they did that one run when they went towards inner.
And again, you're talking about with an overtime. What did the team learn exactly from their first, when they were first able to approach strategically the CT side? Let's say it's against Dignitas' CT side. SK, they had problems moving into the A bomb site. They tried many times to finally close that round, to force an eco out of Dignitas with their T aggression into fast contact plays or executes on A yard. Didn't really work out for them. Do you think we're going to see more attempts at that, or do you think they're going to just play for the picks and play more execute-based game?
I think we're going to see, well, first up they're going to start with the executes, see if Friis can, because Friis has really come into it, starting hitting a lot of op shots. I think it was 12 and 17 at some point. Now he's hitting at 30-22, so he's clearly been doing a pretty good job as of late. And wouldn't be too surprised if they let him lead the charge for them and try to find the opening picks out in yard. If they can't find anything, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Pimp put on aggression towards the inner bomb side, because even though they didn't have that much success actually getting the rounds on the inner bomb side, they found the frags, the initial frags. So if Friis is able to find, again, the rotation is coming in from Dignitas towards that inner bomb side, then it's very doable for SK to pick up rounds there as well.
Well, we've got a 3-man push through connector from the CTs moving into the A site, where they will have 4 people in total. Very fast nades coming in, trying to make sure they keep control of team main, where there will be no aggression from SK to start things off.
Yeah, it's a very passive play here from Dignitas. Not playing too far up into the yard. I mean, tenzki is the furthest up there at the moment. We do have MSL also rocking the auto sniper, which is a bit of a mix-up from Dignitas' perspective, as SK just play it slow at the moment. And what do you think they're really aiming to do here? It looks like we've got the smokes being indicated by KD in there.
I thought it was noughts and crosses, Dan.
You can see Magic Boy just setting up for it. He's got one teammate with him as well, so looking like a pretty standard A execute here.
Okay, so you can see KD knows what's up.
MODDII's actually been headshotted through the wall as well, so he's down to 23 HP.
Oh, that's not a good start for him, but now it's down for the T's to push, or not.
It's going to be fake.
Indeed, the bomb is heading in towards the B bomb site, but it's heading in towards the auto sniper of MSL, but he's going to get all of 1 frag with it. 2 versus 4. They'll get a bomb plant, but at this point, it's not going to matter much. They need to win the rounds here. They've got a 3-round lead, which is soon to be 2, unless Pimp can get a 1 versus 3 here after taking down RUBINO, which would make it 1 versus 4 in total. The double peak almost coming in, but only config would be required to finish off Pimp there, and Dignitas will close the gap by 1.
Yeah, managed to hold on to the auto sniper as well that MSL dropped. And even though MSL only picks up 1 frag and doesn't really do any damage to the second guy coming down from SK, it doesn't really matter at that point, because nothing actually worked on that outer tick that was supposed to fake and create a rotation from Dignitas. They got nothing done. But SK trying out new things.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, especially considering how many A yards takes they showed previously, kind of conditioning Dignitas into making poor decisions upon seeing that execute. Now, once again, will SK go for something similar? They did kill a lot of time on the clock previously before going for the execute. And of course, Dignitas, they could always throw in an aggression towards inner or something like that. We haven't seen it too much from them. It was more something we saw out of SK CT side.
I like this from Dignitas though. Again, they're changing things up, and this is something we tend to see more on the CT side in OTs, the fact that the CT setups change up quite a bit more. So they've done this one time previously where RUBINO pushed aggressively on towards higher. They're actually going to rotate off now. So all of that build up for nothing.
Anticlimax.
Yeah.
Well,
SK seemingly setting up for a similar strat as to what they did previously. They might not fake it this time around though, and that would be pretty disastrous given how Dignitas are 4 players out on the yard.
Well, it seems the smokes will be coming into a bomb site near you very shortly. Watch this space. Indeed, the wall of smokes coming in. The CTs, it seems, may push straight through it. Going to try and take people by surprise there. tenzki getting initial aggression there with no AK facing him. And now config is coming in. He's been so strong for Dignitas so far. 3 versus 2 in favor of SK though. And again, the smokes are still down. Bomb's going to try and get planted. We might see a pop flash coming through. Kjaerbye going to try and sort the plant. Not going to happen though. He knows there's a player on or around the site. Will he see the player up the ladder though? Will he be traded? He'll get taken down by Friis. 2 men surviving for SK, who move to game points.
Yeah, this is a big deal right now. Dignitas under a lot of pressure. The best they can do is get another overtime secured. And of course, that is not going to be fun, especially at the start of a best of 3. You've got so many maps to come. You don't want to fatigue yourself just on map 1. Now we've got the auto sniper staying true on tenzki this time for Dignitas. Now what will it be though for SK? What will it be indeed? I mean, I do like the pick base play into the executes, but we will have MODDII potentially looking for an aggression here. However, Dignitas is going to be playing it slow and simple. Config pushed up by himself by Popdog, which can be quite risky if SK were to go out team main and Popdog at the same time, but he's confident He will fall back on the flash. This is very, very dangerous stuff. Very dangerous game that Config's playing. He's going to spot the players now. In this forward position by Ebox. Could really use some nades from his teammates to maybe claim some kills here as the T's start to just slow it down.
Oh, nice way to throw the nade down there. Bouncing off the wooden block there will do great damage to SK. That was very fortunate indeed. Config with a 2-man hold from the electric box there. Very nice how he initially jumped past as well, just to try and avoid being headshot. Meanwhile, we've got more frags coming in, and Magic Boy with less than 10 HP remains for SK, so it doesn't seem like they'll take map 1 just yet. Who knows if they will. Dignitas, following this round, will be 2 rounds behind. They cannot afford to lose any other rounds, otherwise we head to Cobble.
I'm surprised Config got 1 frag, let alone 3 in that position without getting punished. That's kind of ridiculous. That should not have happened there.
Yeah, you would have imagined that after he shows himself, well, the second and the third time at that point, his window of opportunity is gone, unless he gets a ton of nades, like James mentioned, from his teammates to help him out in that situation. But somehow managed to do all of it for himself.
It was so fortunate it just bounced off the corner there, just right into them. Like, here, maximum damage, bros. 2 guys as well.
We practiced that, I promise.
Yeah. So you can see Magic's Boy, he's got 11k in the bag, so he's going to go for the save.
It's a big bag, James.
If they want the op on Friis, I guess that's the worry. If Friis is
yeah.
buying up an op now,
Yeah,
I can see Magic is actually buying the op for him.
Well, there we go. All made sense of. 2 rounds behind are Dignitas if they want to stay in this first game. It is a best of 3. Second map Cobble, third map Overpass.
Here we go. Friis looking for the pick from Team Aim once again early into the round, but he will not find any luck just yet. We have another winner play out of SK. Just taking some space towards them. I mean, they've shown presence towards Team Aim. Dignitas have no idea what's going on just yet. And we will potentially see an entry attempt here. Or will we just see the smokes over the top? We've got the molly there from AcilioN. As you can see, Kjaerbye is indicating where that's supposed to land behind the B train. So here comes the execute into B. Now will they be able to make good of this and close this map, or will Dignitas hang on once again?
The MSL's going to flash himself through to try and counter this push, but the push is not coming in yet. Maybe waiting to see what the reaction is from Dignitas. Maybe waiting for the counter nades. And now the second nades come in and the push is attempted. MSL RUBINO getting 2 frags here. AcilioN is heavily tagged as well. And he's a bomb planter, so he has to be really careful with that Molotov on the site. You can see he's stuck in position. He wasn't able to move onto the site, and SK got wiped out. Only the 1 frag after those nades.
Very well played by SK. I like the fact that Dignitas actually just slow things down to see what kind of a reaction they can get out of it. But in the end, Dignitas making the full rotation and MSL being able to hold people back for long enough, and RUBINO finding the first pick on higher just stops SK completely. Still not an issue for SK, still going to get that full buy as Magic did save that AK and buy an op for free, so he's going to have that up one more time here going into the last round of the first overtime.
This is very, very scary stuff here for SK. They really want to just close this one down now, but Dignitas has to be so strong with this defense, and it's like the bomb is just chilling by Pop Dog at the moment for SK. As once again they set up some players towards the inner area. Now they could try to throw the smokes into B and then just jump down Pop Dog in for the A play.
I think this is going to be the pick play that they did previously. Having Pimp push out higher, having Friis jump down into lower slope there and just see if he can catch a rotation as well. Pimp try to work his way out towards higher.
It's like they're about to creep their way down now. Potentially Friis, once the smoke dissipates, can get a fast pick. It's going to take quite the play, but here he goes. He's going to jump in, perfectly timed with the flash. Hits the shot onto RUBINO. Fantastic stuff there from Friis, but can his team capitalize? They're actually going to back away now and move through the Pop Dogs. It's very Virtus Pro-esque, leaving Pimp to press forwards in the B yard to really sell this one. And now they're actually going back again into the B bomb site. Madness here from SK.
He was so deep on the B bomb site that they're going all the way in. 3 versus 2 now, and Dignitas dancing around the smoke. There's 1 frag. Can Config clutch for his team once again? We have MODDII with the Molotov in the back, and he just needs to hold the angle, wait for the clicks of that defuse attempt, but he's going to get shot in the head while doing it. Is there enough time? Oh, the Molotov, it might expand, but it's not going to matter. Overtime 2, ladies and gentlemen, is the order of the day. Off-screen, Wienecke is in tears. We have more Counter-Strike to come on map 1.
Yeah, Janke's recording notes on a piece of paper, and it's just there's so much there.
He's
I don't know when he's gonna get time to go through all that.
His face is red. One can only imagine what he would be saying on the microphone right now. But he's going to have to wait because we're going to have another 2 halves of CS. We have Config on the 40 bomb now. He was just over the 30 bomb at the beginning of overtime. He is doing very well for his team indeed. MODDII had, if I'm not mistaken, MODDII had 11 frags at the beginning of overtime. And he still has 11 frags. So he's not doing very well at the moment.
That's a good point, actually. I did notice the 11 frags earlier. That is
It's a rough going.
that is rough, isn't it? Especially if you consider that SK were in a position where they should have been able to win this overtime. I mean, they just needed 1 round for what, 3 or 4 rounds.
They went 4-1 in the first half.
Yeah, so they should have had every opportunity to, and they did have a lot of great opportunities. So, yeah, definitely that underperformance there from MODDII is going to really be a bit of pressure for him. And also, I mean, if they end up losing this map, I mean, of course, MODDII's a very experienced player, but that's going to feel bad. Like, MODDII's going to, he might be playing worse after that. It's kind of hard to reset yourself
But
so
yeah,
immediately.
when you're falling 20 frags behind the next closest guy on your team, you might think to yourself that this is kind of on me.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
with good reason, not to hang MODDII out to dry, but
Of course not.
but it's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I mean, not a single frag in the entire overtime of 10 rounds
Yeah, and even
is
before that,
a psychological issue, right?
yeah, and even before that, if you go through 30 rounds of CS and pick up 11 frags when you were supposed to be one of the heaviest fraggers on your team, then something's up. You're not having the best of days.
Yeah. So now 11 frags in a total of 40 rounds.
I guess if you want to see the positive side of it, Asger still going into second overtime with MODDII not performing, not showing up.
And one thing we can't forget as well is it's best of 3, sure, but it's single elimination, so there's no second chance for this as well. And of course, the stakes are very, very high. And if Dignitas, if SK were to take out Dignitas, then they're going to have the side of the bracket which has G2 on it, which is arguably could be. I actually don't know which side of the bracket would be stronger. I think it's pretty even overall.
I would actually go with the side with G2 on it. Is probably the least favorable one. That's the one
G2
you
are looking.
don't want to be.
They're looking meatier than a Sunday roast at the moment, Dan. So might want to be avoided if you are a
SK did
vegan.
beat G2 though last time they played, although without Rain on the team. But
Well, we are going to.
continue.
Well,
Oh no, RUBINO's on the toilet.
he's on the throne.
Yeah, we might need a
Is that what you
bucket.
call it, James?
We only have thrones. They're on our toilets. It's just taking a moment on the throne. Admiring the jewels, Dan. Maybe disposing of a few unwanted ones. So, what can we expect? Can we expect anything? Obviously, Dignitas are going to continue on the CT side here in this overtime, so you could perhaps say that they have momentum in their favour in that regard.
I think we're going to see, if anything, we're going to see the aggressive push into upper on the inner bomb side. I think that, or a potentially double push in alley, but something more crazy than that, I don't think we're going to see. I think we would have seen it in the first overtime if that was the case. If they feel like they can play with a pretty default setup and still get away with it, they're going to do that instead of risking something.
We haven't seen a lot of fakes actually. Like you know, you tend to see like a team like Na'Vi would run like a lot of fakes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what is this? Is this supposed to be like Mickey Mouse? A really bad Mickey Mouse?
At the moment, it looks like a Rorschach test. Right now, he's running a personality test on all of us.
Okay, wait, what happened to his nose?
Is this a rabbit?
Oh, that is the most horrendous thing I've ever seen.
If
That
that
is
thing
so ugly.
smiled at me, I would shoot it. What is that? That's not a leg. What is that?
It's the third leg.
Is it like one of those dogs that has 2 legs and it has like wheels at the back? They've given it plastic
No.
wheels.
What?
No.
What's this?
Oh, it's Dan.
Maybe he's just got one of my brand new.
It all makes
you have-
sense.
you have
It
that
all
one
makes
here?
my
sense
merch,
now.
man. I've got loads of new merch coming out.
Does it look
It's,
like this?
It does look exactly like
That's the
exactly like
logo?
that. That's the logo.
Tell me where to place my order.
Oh, the biceps.
Wow. Those biceps
Brilliant.
or cysts.
They
Oh,
look
yeah,
like
they
potatoes
look like
potatoes
they're
actually.
They look like sebaceous cysts.
Just some.
But you won't see that, under a shirt, right?
Yeah, that's the trick. You just put some potatoes under your shirt.
Exactly. You look ripped.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe.
What do you think Dan has under there?
I
Bunch of
I-
potatoes.
Well, I don't know where to go with this. To be honest, Dan and potatoes. Every time we have Cadian in, things just go wrong.
Can ferment them.
Things
Bake
just go
vodka,
wrong.
James. There you
Ferment potatoes.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Is that how they make vodka?
Yeah, the strongest alcohol in Earth, ever made is actually made from potatoes.
I thought that was just like petrol. I don't know.
It's probably as healthy to drink, I would imagine.
Most likely.
Well, the match should be resuming shortly again. MR5 can be a bit arduous on the bowels.
Yeah, RUBINO's taking his time on his throne.
Indeed he is. So, we are finally going to go into it seems. Great stuff. Okay, so again, MR5, 5 rounds and a half, 16K, $16,000. I don't know if they're American dollars or Ugandan dollars, but they are dollars nonetheless, and they will use them to purchase weaponry, armor, and other utilities.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not really sure. Okay, MSL crashed, but he's still typing. Who knows?
Hello.
Greetings, friends.
So buys are being made. We can see no AWPs have been bought yet on either side actually. So let's see. Friis is yet to buy. One would expect him to buy an AWP, although they are on a T side. We'll have to wait and see. RUBINO has picked up an AWP. So RUBINO is opting for the AWP now instead of MSL, it seems.
And no auto sniper actually, which they had on the interbomb site for at least 2 of the rounds in that halftime or overtime.
Alrighty then. So RUBINO's going to be the man holding down the connector area as it gets as main gets smoked off. He's going to move away and rotate between A and B. You can see SK moving 2 people towards IV, 1 by 1. MODDII's going to be the trade person just in case, but they're both up close now. And there's a strong hold from Dignitas below Pop, where AcilioN is on top of at present.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting play if they try to make it down there, but of course AcilioN likely won't be the guy unless he drops the bomb to a comrade. As you don't want to go down there alone with the bomb. That would be a bad choice, I would say. But if he has a teammate to pop flash from teammate or something, then that could also be good. But SK playing a little bit chill. They got 2 players towards Ali now as well. And looks like they might go for a bit of a fake here. What do you make of this, Halvor?
Yeah, I'm not really sold on it. If they want to pick this, I'm not really sold on it because they're committing quite a bit actually in alley. But I'm assuming this is going to be an inner fake.
Yeah.
So it depends on how many people they actually commit to this fake. If they commit 1 guy, or they're actually not going to commit anyone at all. So this shouldn't force a big rotation for Dignitas.
Indeed, it's going to force no rotation from Dignitas. They are complete non-believers. Pimp going to have a sweeping shot onto Kjaerbye. 2 more frags, and the A site's been wiped out. MSL and tenzki on the wrong side of the choke point. Bomb goes down with less than 10 seconds left. MSL's got 1 frag onto MODDII, but how many more can they get? They'll need to get fast frags if this round is going to be a potential one for them. But with MSL going down, that might close out the round here for SK.
Yeah, looks like a pretty effective fake after all there from SK. And it was, of course, very key to get the fast entries towards Ali. And then there's just too much of it, too much to deal with, really. The defense was spread too thin.
It's the sandwich that we talked about happening when both Cobble and Dust kind of happened to the 2 guys on the bomb train for Dignitas as well, especially when RUBINO misses out on his op shot, which is probably a shot he should make. Might not necessarily win them the round, but it's going to buy more time for his teammate there to potentially take out the guy pushing out from alley who's still left, and then basically deny a bomb plant or delay a bomb plant from SK and allow rotations to come in.
I love sandwiches.
Sandwiches aren't really nice.
Especially when they're filled with apricot jam. So, let's look at the hold of the CTs here. They're going to have 1 close to team main. Again, that's always very important. Cloud9 would have been one of the first teams to demonstrate the importance of controlling that as the CT side. Friis has left the building courtesy of tenzki. So, a strong advantage early on for Dignitas. Config is inside team main, and he's going to use that to try and look over towards Pop as well. So 1 man becomes 2, but it seems that he could get flanked shortly.
Yeah, this is a pretty awesome position for Config. He's been taking quite a few risks here and there with some of these more forward plays. We saw that from Popdog from him previously, and he got away with the 3K. I can only dare to imagine how many kills he's going to make out of this. The flash will go in, so SK are on higher alert that there could be a player around this area. But Config is going to get blinded and completely crushed as the push to reclaim some of the T sides of the map are now successful for SK as they are now forced to go for a plate. 40
seconds remain, however, and the bomb is still fairly static towards team A. And they have some Molotovs left, just the one smoke, so things not looking easy for them. Running out of players as well. There's only 2 remain. Running towards the A site where there's a full rotation from the CTs. 20 seconds on the clock. Flank coming in from Kjaerbye. He will finish things off. Pimp trading for MODDII, but that's going to be that for SK.
Oh. I'm quite curious as to why Dignitas wanted that flash into teaming. Because as you said, that just kind of gives away the fact that Dignitas have somebody close that wants to figure out something. But if Config is not going to commit to it and actually push out for information, that you just put Config in a really awkward situation.
Yeah.
But luckily for Dignitas, SK decided to split up completely. They didn't even have the bomb anywhere near the inner bomb site when it attempted to go in with 2 people. And RUBINO had a pretty easy job of picking up 2 easy frags.
Well, the initial nades coming in from the CTs towards the main area. Config not going to get too close for comfort just yet, although there are 2 Dignitas players focusing on this area. SK continuing to be a bit passive for the time being, just waiting to see if any pushes are coming in from the CTs, it seems. Just over a minute on the clock for them to make a decision. Going to set up for some smokes, it seems.
And this is, wouldn't be surprised if this is the same A-Tech, exactly like Kaden splitting out. This worked out really nicely for them the last time around. I'm expecting them not to do the fake like they've done once already. They're just going to go with what worked last time.
All right, so push comes in. The smokes have been laid across the side, cutting it in half. As we get tenzki in a great position there. With the help of Kjaerbye, he's able to take down 1 player. MODDII is out of the picture once again. Bomb will be planted though for SK regardless in the smoke, which means the plan has been enacted, and it's going to plan so far. 2 players now for Dignitas as they try to go for the retake. The gun poking around the corner there for MSL to get an easy kill. Just Friis and Magic Boy now to save this one. That's all on MSL. The in-game leader here for Dignitas, pressing forwards, looking for these frags. But again, SK in a very strong position, 2 against 1. The bomb in an open position. MSL is in a world of trouble at the moment. He's going to go for the stick. Can he get it in time? Absolutely not. Friis is there with a shot from the AWP, and SK will pick up the round. 22-21 now.
I like, well, obviously solid execute from SK to get the job done once again. I do like the fact that Dignitas have stopped chasing for the bomb plant in those situations. So instead of potentially losing people by flashing themselves through the smoke to deny the bomb plant, they're just letting it go and going for a retake instead.
Yeah, they went for a fast flank as well around the outer trains, which made things very awkward, like an episode of American Pie. We're looking at the first team to make it to 26 rounds here. Very nice tag through the smoke there. Friis and tenzki currently quite low. Just a 1 round advantage for SK at present. We have 4 CTs on the A site, and again we have 1 CT playing deep onto B. That's MSL with 2 lurkers for SK. If he goes down, then the CTs may be in trouble with their thin lead of just 1 round. Got Pimp moving to upper now. And again, I think we've seen some Molotovs in that position.
Yeah, so SK are going to throw out the fake, set up for a somewhat similar round as to what they just did, and try to go for an enter push, from what it seems like.
Okay, so we shall bear witness and see what comes of this. Magic moving towards the long area, and it seems the push is going to be in the B bomb site, so Magic's going to be the flanker. Will he get there in time? RUBINO with 2 frags, traded by Pimp. Bombs on the floor in a Molotov. We've got 3 CTs moving into the site. Late rotation from tenzki, who gets taken down by Magic Boy. But that means there's only 2 SK players on the B bomb site. So far, so good. Config going to trade for Pimp, and now it's Friis versus 2. Config and Kjaerbye. 1 is high on the site, and 1 is coming through connector, going for a bit of a shoulder peek there. Didn't go as far as Friis might have liked. He's going to be out of position when Config shoots him in the face, and Dignitas are going to tie things up here.
That could have gotten really scary for Dignitas if with MSL missing that shot onto Pimp. Instead of taking the shot when he had the perfect head height to actually take out Pimp, he actually drops down from the lower plateau and bogs the shot completely and gives Pimp an opportunity to actually create some space.
Well, we're going to have no AWP on the CT side for this round. RUBINO and MSL both opting for the M4s. So the bomb is an IV, or alley if you will, for the time being, where only Kjaerbye will face. We've got a lot of Dignitas players playing around both sides of the A site itself, with 2 SK players around the pop dog area. Nobody towards B for the team at the moment. Again, we have B being held by 1 player. Although the position has been changed now. MSL was deep towards B in the previous round. Now he seems to be on a train, but the push is coming in through Ivy. With 3 men, that's the bomb spotted, but will it go towards A or B? There's a rotation from CT spawn from the CTs and connector as well, but they're losing the numbers here. Both sides are. Man advantage for SK at the moment. The bomb's on the site, as is MSL, but can he stop the bomb from going down? He's going to go down instead. RUBINO left alone, and it's going to be 3 men surviving for SK at halftime with a 1-round lead.
Pretty impressive stuff from SK, actually managing to come out of that first half with a winning T side, and that's the first time we've seen it. So might be all they need. But I think MSL makes a mistake there. I think it was MSL at least to push through the smokes toward the bomb site in that situation. I think at some point you just have to give up the fact that SK are going to get a bomb plant down. It doesn't really matter in the great span of things because getting a bomb plant down doesn't really do anything for you. It just extends the round at this point. You're not worried about them buying up in the next round because they're going to be sitting at 16k, right?
Good news is that MODDII has got some kills.
Hey,
although he's only got 2 kills in 15+ rounds, but
that's a 200% increase.
Will they be the kills that take the team over the line? We shall find out shortly. Again, it's the first team to make to 26 rounds now in this second period of overtime to take the first game. So we're going to have AcilioN playing close. It's pretty much the same spot that MSL was playing in previous rounds on the CT side of Dignitas. In fact, MSL is going to be the first to go down on the map to the CTs. Again, we've got a number of people. Ooh, Friis taking down tenzki through the smoke, it seems, over towards Ivy. So tenzki getting a bit too cheeky there. All right, so we have 3 versus 5 now. Dignitas running out of numbers here in this first round of the second half.
Hope it's been picked up by RUBINO. He's going to find the frag onto Friis as well. Config follows up with Magic Boy being taken down there. And that creates some openings for Dignitas in this round, which was looking pretty grim starting off. And Kjærbye's gotten into a really aggressive position here.
Yeah, so it's looking pretty impressive so far from Dignitas. That 3 versus 2, they should be able to close this one down, although not knowing where MODDII is could be a problem. However, he has not had the best performance so far, but this could be the round for him to shine. We'll find an engagement there. He's got the back of one player to deal with, as we'll have now RUBINO looking in for the shot. Config also covering. So AcilioN goes up onto the bomb train. Very important position here. RUBINO is going to close down AcilioN and barely escape with his life there. 5 HP on him. However, there's not much time left to play with in this situation. He's got to go back in. And MODDII knows it, but he's going to be peeking. And RUBINO gets the kill as well. That was pretty nuts. I really feel like MODDII should have been able to steal that one away.
Yeah, putting so much damage onto RUBINO as he rotates in towards Bob. Should make it for a pretty easy kill.
All right, so 23-23 again. It's the first team to make it to 26 rounds for victory here. We've got 2 CTs and 2 Ts towards Ivy. We've seen some passive play from the Ts towards Ivy based on previous rounds in this map so far, but Dignitas going to go there very quickly indeed. Nothing doing though just yet. Just taking initial position, leaving tenzki there alone and going to move the second player elsewhere.
Yeah, so here we have bomb in a passive position as Dignitas play a pick-based opener. Also just seeing if make sure that they can stay safe early into the round. And Ruben is going to find the pick onto Pimp, who is challenging the angle. And he's going to suffer for it, and as will his team. As we have the push coming in from AcilioN through the smoke as Dignitas were pressuring into inner. And MSL's created quite the opening. Now, SK don't really know which way to turn. They've lost a guy on alley, they've lost a guy on inner. Now realizing they've got to go back onto the A site. And Dignitas need to go get the bomb. It's actually still left in that passive position. So they do have the luxury of these smokes covering the horrible choke points that SK is stuck behind. But Friis could be the difference. But he has been spotted now, so the element of surprise is now gone.
Yeah, but it might be suicide for the T to re-pick that position. Indeed, he's going to take a new one. Kjærbye is going to take down Friis, leaving Magic Boy alone. Dignitas on the cusp of taking a lead here. Once more, it's the first team to make it to 26 rounds. Otherwise, we're looking at 25-25 overtime 3. So, Boy found himself a 1 versus 1, but he's not going to hit the mark, or any mark at all, onto Kjærbye. So SK now find themselves behind.
Yeah, and this is the problem of being on the CT side and not picking up the first round, regardless if it's MR3 or MR5. If you are op heavy, you're going to run out of money eventually, and you can see Friis is down to $200 right now. So SK could get into a really awkward situation where Dignitas might be at match point and SK have a really shoddy buy. And they've been relying heavily on Friis' op because he's been playing really well.
Well, we've got a fast push through B from AcilioN once again. He's been doing this before and made it work. MSL to trade, and Pimp's not going to trade back. So, man advantage now for Dignitas, who could move to map point if this continues.
And the attention from SK has been put towards that B bomb side just for a moment. We've got MagicBoy back into connector now, rotating back. So the spread here is essentially 1-1-1 from SK. Now, there's the first engagement by Ali. Will be lost out against tenzki. Dignitas now with a very, very strong chance to finish incredibly well in this round, unless a huge wrench can be thrown in the works by the remaining players of SK, but they're not really in a position to do so. They're stuck behind the most horrible of choke points, and with the plan on the A yard, there's really nothing that they can do. And tenzki even going to find the frag onto MagicBoy as they go hunting down these remaining players of SK. So it looks like Dignitas should be able to close this over time. It feels that way, but is that what's going to happen, guys?
Oh, we've seen stranger things happen than a team coming back from a force buy, I guess.
So Friis with $200 in the bank. What you call in poker a chip and a chair. Easy to find a definition of that one. So I was wondering if turning that corner would have been his demise, but it won't be. So Dignitas on map points now. SK need 2 of 2 rounds to stay in this game. Let's see what they can muster in terms of a buy. Gonna have a FAMAS coming out. Mostly got the nades and diffuse kits as well.
Actually, a pretty decent buy. It would have been worse for them if Friis was the one to go down instead of Magic in that situation, but no, respectable buy, no doubt.
Well, slowly but surely, Dignitas starting to occupy the secret area by the inner bomb sites. Looks like they just want to get themselves in there at this point in time. And AcilioN once again is the very important player for SK. Not only does he need to do some damage here, it'd be really good if he could survive and stop them pushing forwards up the yard as they get the plant, but he goes down immediately. Dignitas with a very nice entry, courtesy of Kjaerbye. Now as SK respond, but will it be fast enough this time? There is also tenzki, who's looking to take down MagicBoy. Brilliant position, and no flank for SK.
5 versus 3, and SK's window of opportunity is being smashed to pieces here. Friis has taken down MSL, but there's a very fast 2-man for Dignitas, leaving MODDII alone. His team are calling the GG. No faith here, as maybe the task is an insurmountable one, but he's found himself 2 fast frags. He does have a lot of nades as well. There's a third one. Down to 1v1 now, and RUBINO to finish things off there. MODDII looking for greatness, finally finding the kills, but it was all too late for his team. So Dignitas are going to take the first game of this best of 3. The second map will be Cobble, and at this point I think we can introduce Wienecke to give his possibly savage review of the proceedings.
This game should have ended 16-2 for Dignitas.
That's
my first point, you know. I mean, it ended up being real close, but when you look back to the first half, Dignitas was up 6-0 as City. Then they, you know, were in a 5v3 situation where MSL got 2 early kills on B, and so now you're in a 5v3 on the CT side on Train, and they still managed to lose it by giving 2 quick entries to SK, who decided to go B. At that point, if you're the B player, at say MSL and RUBINO, I think they were at that point, you only want to buy time for your team. Like as soon as you see an execute going your way, you want to challenge, maybe, you know, return some nades and play the numbers. You have a 2-man advantage. Just, you know, play it safe, and you will probably more often than not you'll win the round. So they give away a round there, and later on in the half, when SK kind of forced, they didn't have it was a weak buy. They were in a 4v2, and they had the bomb down. They had 2 players on the bomb, but SK managed to bring it back as well, and it ended up 10-5 for Dignitas, which is okay, like considering, but when you think about the rounds they lost, it should have been probably 13-2 for Dignitas. And I just want to praise SK for what they did in the second half. When they lost pistol, they didn't force armors on all of their... only MagicBoy bought armor. Other players just bought a CZ. And you can see when they started coming back, it was the 2 initial rounds, they managed to win them because they had enough resources, enough nades. Friis with the AWP was playing really well this game. But ultimately, when it comes to overtime, it's not just about, you know, strats, because both of these teams I feel are not that comfortable on Train. They don't have enough strats, they're not prepared enough. So in overtime it comes down to psychology as well, more so to the individual plays. We can see how config MagicBoy and Friis played really well, AcilioN as well, but MODDII really underperformed for SK in that overtime, as you guys pointed out a couple of times. And I think the second map, because of how the first one ended, is just going to be a stomp for Dignitas.
I like how MODDII had like the 3K, like the clutch coming out on the last round of double overtime. that was a pretty late point to wake up into the match. So I mean, maybe that's going to be good for him because that's going to be a nicer way to go into the next map.
Yeah, it's better to end with what 15 frags than 12.
Well,
you have to stay
positive,
positive, right?
Yeah, really.
we will see if he can pick it up for the next map. The next map will be Cobble, so we'll let the admins and teams set up for the next map, and we will be back in a few minutes with the second map of this best of 3. See you soon.